So just finding a comfortable position lying down on your back. You can have your knees bent, or you can have your legs straight. You can have the hands on your belly or your arms out wide to the side. Whatever feels good to you. You could even let your knees release out wide to the side. Or you could take the other alternative and let your knees come in together and take your feet out wide. Whatever you feel allows your body to soften, to become heavy. And just for a few moments to relax. Close your eyes if you're happy to do that. Try and maybe soften a little bit more through the muscles around your face, especially the jaws, especially the tongue. And just feeling that spaciousness through your sinuses and the back of your throat, your shoulders rolling back. And allowing the weight of your spine to really sink down into the floor. Sometimes without realizing it, we actually sort of hold ourselves away from the floor. We're so used to keeping ourselves together and holding everything in that just softening and letting go can feel like such a lovely release. So really focusing on the support from the floor beneath you, holding your body. And with a sense of safety, just as far as possible, letting go. And connecting to your breath, you might just begin to notice where you feel the breath moving in your body. Maybe the chest is moving more than the belly. Maybe the belly is moving more than the chest. Maybe there's a bit of both going on. Sometimes it's nice to place the hands onto the belly just to bring our attention there and see if we can let the breath sink down a little deeper, fill the lower section of the lungs. So the belly rising up a little bit on the inhale and sinking back and down on the exhale. And just taking another few breaths there before we start to move. You might want to take a few breaths where you sigh the breath out through the mouth. Now when you're ready, we'll bring bend into the knees, and in your own time bring the knees into your chest, and you can keep your eyes closed for a little bit longer if you want, just so that you keep that attention inside your body. We'll start with a gentle rock, side to side. Maybe you let go of the knees and bring the hands to the floor, and so can you rock a little bit further in each direction. Start to wake up the side body, keeping the shoulders flat to the floor. Maybe you get so far in one direction that you're just hovering for a moment above the floor, coming back to center, to the other side. I even start to roll ahead in the opposite direction to the knees and just find a little bit of a rhythm. Just rocking gently side to side. And then coming back to center and starting to make some circles with your knees. Again, you might just put the hands on the floor and use your own muscles, your own body, and really taking the knees as far in each direction as you can, so that you take the knees away, take them over to one side, you pull them towards your chest. So we're activating a little bit. You might reverse that movement and go all the way back around in the other direction a few times. And then coming back again to center, and maybe using your hands here to guide the knees out wide. And we'll take some big circles there to open into the hips a little bit. And again, you might just do a few circles one way and then come back a few circles around in the other direction. And then bringing back to center. Let's keep the right knee in. Take the left foot to the floor, either with the knee bent or with the legs straight. Let's just shuffle back a bit, got a couch in the way. And rolling into that right ankle. Nice, slow, big, slow circles. You might want to bring the forehead up towards that knee. Roll back down, and then just extend that right leg. You can bend and stretch that a few times, just easing into that hamstring stretch. And then maybe keeping that leg long, slide the hands up to the calf, lift the forehead to the knee. Roll back down. Bring that knee back into your chest, and then just guide that right knee out to the side. So my left hand on my left hip to try and remind myself that I don't want to let my whole pelvis roll. Taking that right knee out as far as I can, and then maybe resting that right elbow on the floor and holding that right knee with your hand. And then just extending long out to the side and back again. And then, depending on how it feels, keep that leg extended and just lighten through that hand. You might even be able to take it away and hold the leg there. You might even allow that leg to go out a little bit wider. So just see how much kind of help you need to give yourself with that hand, and we'll just hold it for a moment or two. So a light touch there if you can, so that we're working into that hip a little bit without straining. And then we're going to bend that knee again, just guide it back to center. And then just touch that foot down to the floor. Don't straighten out your leg. Just touch the toes down to the inside of that left thigh, and we'll move into a twist. So the arms go out wide. That right knee is guiding you over towards the floor, pulling the pelvis into that twist. And trying to keep that right shoulder back on the floor, and we're maybe looking in the direction of that right hand. Breathing down into the belly, taking a few nice breaths there. And then guiding yourself all the way back to center. Let's just swap sides. Bring the left knee in, extend the right leg long if you can, and if you can't, obviously don't. I'm going to roll out that left ankle. Nice and slow. And we're going to bring the forehead to the knee. And we're going to roll back down. We're going to extend that left leg long. Maybe point and flex, or a few more circles. Maybe you want to bend and straighten that leg, whatever feels good. And then keeping that leg straight, maybe sliding the hands up, forehead to knee. Coming all the way back down. And then rebending that knee, and we guide it out to the side. And just stay there. You might bring that hand to support you, and then bend and straighten. And then keeping, when you can, that leg long, pressing out through that left heel, pressing also out through that right heel, so you're really grounded here, because you might lighten a little bit through that hand. So can you hold it there for a few breaths? And then we'll support that knee again as we bend it. Bring it back to center, bring the foot to the floor, and then find that twist. So nestle that left foot against that inner right thigh, and then let that left knee guide you over into that twist. Take a few breaths. And then bring yourself all the way back. We're just going to bend both knees and then roll onto one side. Now, if you've got a cushion or a block or something like that, or even a couple of cushions, that might be nice. And also just try and make sure that you've got a little bit of space kind of above your head. So if you're right up to a piece of furniture or something like that, try and shuffle away a little bit. We want to be able to stretch the arm out there. So supporting your head, we'll take the arms straight out to the side. Okay, knees are bent and hips are stacked. And we're just going to firstly bring this top arm, whichever side you're lying on, and trail it up the other arm across the chest, and you're going to open out, taking that shoulder to the floor and then extending that arm, and maybe turning your head a little bit if you can to look in the direction, and then start to bring it back. Trail it down the arm, bring the fingertips back together. Just do maybe one or two more like that, coming all the way over and back. So you're just finding these lovely twists, these opening through the spine, and all the way back. One more if you can. So you'll notice the twist maybe feels quite different to the twist we did a moment ago. It's really working a little bit more into the sort of mid and upper section of the back. And then stay in here. And this time, we're going to come into a twist again, but this time we're going to trail the fingers as close to the floor as you can, going above your head. And then as you bring your arm around, again, trying to just touch the floor or get as close as you can and open all the way around. Now you're sort of getting into a twist, but you're also feeling quite a lot in your shoulder. So trailing those fingertips back and coming all the way back onto your side again. Let's do a couple more, because this is a really lovely way to open into the shoulder. Nice and slow, big circle. It's like you're doing a half moon sort of shape. Over and back. Let's try just one more. And don't worry if you're nowhere near the floor, that's okay. And you might find little areas where you get a little bit stuck. So you might need to just give yourself a bit more space. Nice job. Come all the way back. And then just take that top hand and reach your fingertips down towards your toes. Pull that shoulder away from your ear and then shrug it up towards your ear. Then take it away from your ear. Shrug it up towards your ear. A couple more times. Nice. You might give it a little roll, a few little circles there. And then we'll do that on the other side. So you can just turn yourself over. I'm going to actually spin myself around. Take your time to prop your head and make sure that you're comfortable there. And then again, we start to trail that hand, the fingers up the arm, across the chest, and then opening out towards the floor behind you if you can. Reaching out and then coming all the way back onto the heart and then all the way down that arm again. So finding that twist, as I said, a little bit more into the mid and upper back. And we'll just do maybe one more. And then when you've done that one, we'll go into our sort of half moon or semicircle. So the fingers coming up over the head, staying as close to the floor as you can, and then opening out all the way back and around. And again, you feel that nice stretch into the front of that shoulder. And we'll just do a few more like that. Take your time. Notice the tight spots. All the way around that shoulder blade and that upper back. I think we might just do one more for luck. And then the fingertips reaching down towards your toes, pulling away from your shoulder, and then shrugging up. Push away and shrug up. And again. And then just a few circles with that shoulder. And then you might just roll over onto your back again. I'm going to come back in this direction. Don't know why. I feel like I have to be pointing in this direction for some reason. So you might remove the cushion, take it off to one side. We'll keep a little bend in the knees and the feet flat on the floor. We're going to let the little fingers touch the floor and the thumbs point up towards the ceiling. And then start to take the arms up. Try and keep the shoulder blades on the floor, bringing the arms up over the head and all the way back to the floor behind you. And just as you bring the arms up, keep the front ribs drawing in and down. And just maybe let the thumbs touch the floor behind your head. They mightn't get there, and that's okay. Coming all the way over and down again. And then all the way over and back. And again, just as I say, keep the back body really firmly grounded and make this movement all from the shoulders. And then bringing the hands back to the floor, down alongside your body. Heels might want to walk in a little bit close to your bum. We're coming into a bridge pose, but before we do, let's find a pelvic tilt. Press your lower back into the floor. Feel a little bit of a lift through the pubic bone. And then tilt your pelvis forward and let your lower back lift away from the floor. Back and forward through those two opposing movements. Little massage for the lower back, the lumbar spine. And then we're going to roll up into bridge. So pressing the lower back down and then letting the tailbone lead you and lift up each vertebra away from the floor. Coming into your full bridge pose. You can keep the hands to your sides or you can float the arms up over your head. Take an inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. And then begin to slowly roll down vertebra by vertebra. And let the arms float down to your sides again. So let's play a little bit in this and change things up. Let's take the feet out to the edges of the mat. Press the lower back into the floor, curl the tailbone off and push up again into bridge. Big wide leg bridge. Notice which muscles switch on to hold you here. A little bit more the outer hip and thigh, pressing up, lifting the chest a little bit, squeezing there. And then lowering down to the floor. Let's bring both feet together. Inner ankles maybe touch or thereabouts. Again, press the lower back into the floor and roll up. Noticing what's changed. Noticing the inner thighs working. Different area of the glutes. Really squeezing those knees together. Lifting the chest. Try and press those knees in. 3, 2, 1. Roll the spine down. Upper back, mid back, lower back. Nice. Step your feet out about hip width apart again, but turn your toes out. Press your lower back down and curl up. So with the toes turning out. Feel into your hips. Start to feel the hamstrings. Pressing those hips up, taking a breath there. And then rolling back down to the floor. Keep the heels where they are, but turn the toes in towards each other. And again, press the lower back into the floor and roll up. I love these. I love the way it changes the sensation. And it's just like there's no, definite way that we have to do anything. And the more we mix things up, the more we're starting to work and wake up different parts of the body. Again, feels very different. Roll back down to the floor. Keep the feet in their usual position, the general hip width apart, toes pointing forwards. But again, press your lower back into the floor and roll up. And once you're up into your bridge pose, lift up onto your tiptoes. See how that feels. Notice which part of your legs and bum are working now. Let the heels drop down. Roll back down to the floor. This time, we're going to lift the toes off before we come up. Press the lower back into the floor and come up. So this is nice work for the spine, but we're also really now focusing on the thighs and the glutes. Have a sense of trying to drag your heels a little bit here towards your head and then roll back down again. I'm just going to do 1 or 2 more of these. Can you walk your feet a little bit further away from your bum? Press your lower back into the floor. We'll keep those toes lifted and come up into your bridge. Lowering yourself down to the floor. 1 more time, walk the heels away a little bit further. And then press the lower back into the floor. Push into those heels, come up. Do what you can here, completely different sensation. Hold yourself up there. 3, 2, 1. Roll all the way back down. Take a moment there. You might want to bring those knees into your chest. Well done. Again, maybe circling the knees a few times. And then just bringing the feet back to the floor for a moment. Hands coming into your sides again. Thumbs tucking maybe underneath your bum. Lower back pressing down into the floor and shoulders back. And we're going to lift up the feet and we're just going to cycle that through. So feeling again your thighs. And now starting to waken up your core a little bit. Nice slow circles. The bigger circles you can make. Keep going for 5 and 4 and 3, 2 and 1, and then pause and reverse for 5 and 4 and 3, 2 and 1. And then just take the legs straight up in the air. Keep the hands where they are, or you can take them out a little bit wider if you want. We're just going to press up through the heels, curl the toes towards your face, and then start to separate the legs out wide. Try and control this movement. I don't want you to just let the legs fall out to the side. Control, go as wide as you're comfortable to go. And just pause there. Think about pressing the edges of your feet down to the floor. Get this really nice inner thigh stretch, inner groin stretch. If you need to support your legs a little bit there, do. Holding there for 3, 2, 1, and then slowly guiding them back in again. Knees to the chest. You might hold the back of your thighs. We're going to rock ourselves up to sitting. And from a seated position, hands to the floor behind you. Fingers can turn out a little bit to the sides of your mat. Heels can walk in towards your bum slightly, and then just pressing the hands into the floor. Can we lift the chest? Can we look up to the ceiling? Find that nice arch in the upper back. Taking a breath or two there. And then just softening out of that. And we'll do that one more time. Push into the hands, lift the chest. Take your gaze up. And then bring yourself all the way back. Hold on then to the back of your thighs. We're going to bring the legs together. We're going to come into a boat pose. We're going to slowly bring the shins up. Keep the chest lifting. Keep the belly engaged. Keep the back drawing in. Maybe release the hands away. If you're taking it easy, keep a hold of the legs. This is maybe something in between. If you want to go a little bit stronger, you could start to work the legs a little bit straighter. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Holding onto the legs. And then just rolling inwards, hugging the knees in. Maybe taking the chin to the chest. And taking a few breaths here, breathing into your belly, so that as you breathe into your belly, you feel some expansion around the back of your body, around your kidneys, your lower back. And also a little bit of expansion around that mid-back area as you inhale. And then slowly bringing yourself back up to a sitting position on your sit bones. Maybe taking the legs a little bit further away and possibly a little bit wider apart. And we're going to reach the hands behind us, and we're just going to press the sternum, the breastbone forward, and try and open through the shoulders. Find that wingspan. And then on our exhale, your feet are going to stay grounded here. We're going to let the pelvis roll back, pull the belly in, take the chin to the chest. So this is like a sort of cat-cow. Chest goes forward, arms pull back, inhaling and exhaling as we're rounding. And if your breath doesn't want to do what I'm suggesting, do it the other way around, or just breathe, however feels most natural for you. Get a little bit of rhythm and momentum going there. Maybe you speed that up a little bit. You might find that as you get used to the movement, you can lean a little bit further forward. You might roll a little bit further back. And feel that lovely wave of movement through your spine, and feel the work going on through your core. We'll do 2 or 3 more. Let's make this one our last one. And then come all the way up. And we'll swing around, bring the legs around behind us, and we can come onto our hands and our knees now. And just take a moment here to spread the fingers nice and wide. You might take a few little circles with the shoulders around the wrists. Just give them a little bit of attention, a little bit of loading. You might go back around in the other direction. And then pausing here. And I'm going to take the weight more into my right hand. I'm going to sweep my left arm forward. Notice my thumb is going to lead up here. Okay, I can't go any higher now. I want to spin that left palm out to the side and sweep it back. So keep it high if you can, coming around. And then spinning the palm up to the ceiling, just maybe touching the back of the hand to the bum. And try and keep a nice flat back here. Push that hand up to the ceiling and you can't go any further. Spinning that palm, but also think about rolling that shoulder back so that we can turn the palm forward and reach forward again and then down to the floor. Let's move into the other hand so we don't load the wrists too much. Right arm comes up, it's kind of coming up alongside your ear. You're spinning that palm out. Keep it high as you sweep it back around behind you. Just turning and turning and turning. So then it's the back of the hand just touches the back of the bum. Lift up, push up, and then try and draw that shoulder blade back so you can spin that palm forward, reach forward, and then hand to the floor. Let's do the other side again. Thumb leads up, palm spins out. Bring it around and just touch the back of the bum, push up again, and then spin through that arm, reach forward and down. So there's a lot of work going on. You can feel those kind of internal muscles working hard as well to keep you steady. Arm comes up, palm spins out. Arm stays high as you come around, softly touching lower back or bum. Reach up, draw that shoulder blade in, go forward, reach forward and down. We're going to do one more each side. Left arm comes up. You should be feeling a little bit of circulation. Palm spins out. Keep that arm high, looking down at your mat. And then coming all the way back again. Movement coming just from the shoulder, nothing else moving. Hand comes down. Last one on the right side. Good, keep going. And when you're ready, hand comes back to the floor. Now lower down onto your forearms and spin your palms up to the ceiling so that forearms are creating parallel lines. Okay, we're going to try and press the thumb side of the hand down into the floor. So you'll be feeling still this work going on in the top of your shoulder. This is like externally rotating the shoulder. And then just guiding the bum back maybe a little bit. You can keep your head down here. And as you're pressing the bum back, we're also pressing those thumbs into the floor. So there's quite a lot of work going on. Come up and down a few times or in and out of that movement. Keep pressing the thumb side of the hand down into the floor. And just do maybe one or two more. Good job. And then holding yourself there, just spin the palms back and come back up onto the forearms, not the forearms, the palms, sorry. And then look all the way over your right shoulder. Take your chin to your right shoulder and then sweep your chin across the front of your chest and look over your right shoulder and then lift your chin. Little neck circles. And come back around in the other direction. Nice. And then just coming into a puppy pose, walk your hands or slide your hands forward, keep your sit bones up and back, and then lower down. Maybe the forehead comes to the floor. Maybe let the chest sink down a little bit more. So the sit bones are rising up and the chest is sinking down. Maybe forehead to the floor, or some people like to bring their chin to the floor. It depends how the back of your neck feels about that. And you might choose to lift up onto the tips of your fingers and get a little bit more stretch underneath the shoulder blades, into the armpits, down the sides. And then when you're ready, you're going to walk your hands back. Come all the way back up onto your hands and your knees. I'm just going to pull my t-shirt down. All right, so shoulders have had a little bit of a tension there. We're going to bring the knees possibly a tiny bit closer together. We're going to lift that right foot up and take the toes up to the ceiling as you now bring your chest forward and lift your head. So coming into tiger. Okay, then we bring that knee and the forehead towards each other and round the back. So going up with the toes, chest forward, head lifts, and then rounding knee to forehead. So it's like a cat-cow, but we're going a little bit further by bringing in that leg movement. Well, maybe do another 3 or 4 on this side. And then as we bring that knee forward, can we step it up between the hands? Good. And then bring yourself up. If you need to pad out that back knee, do it, because we want to be kind to ourselves today. well, every day, but particularly today. Inhaling, reaching the arms up. We're finding that little tuck of the tailbone, or that little sort of lift through the pubic bone. We're just going to press the hips slightly further forward so that back knee can feel a little bit of pressure here. You might reach up a little bit more through the fingertips, maybe lift a little bit more through the breastbone, but keep that tailbone rooting down there. And then bring the hands down to your heart and take a twist to your right. So that left elbow can touch on that right knee. Your right elbow can go up to the ceiling. You can hold yourself there. If you want to go a little bit further, you might just tentatively tuck those back toes under and just think about trying to straighten the leg, and it may or may not straighten. And it can get a little bit wobbly. Then bringing that knee back to the floor, bringing the hands back to the floor and sweeping that right foot back. Left leg then is going to come in and out. So we're not stepping up yet. We're going to do our tiger pose. So that left leg goes up, head lifts, knee lifts, and then rounding, knee to forehead. A few more like that. And again, next time we're going to bring that knee in between the hands. You might need to help it up a little bit. Again, you might choose to pad out that back knee, lift yourself up, float the arms up. Find that little tilt back of the pelvis, reaching up. Think about dragging that back knee and that front foot together. You might want to let the hips sink a little bit further forward. Breathe. And then bring the hands down to the heart. We'll take a little turn to the left this time. You're just pressing that elbow into the knee. Find a rotation through your spine. Again, it's an option to curl the back toes under and just start to straighten that leg. Feeling that opening in the hip. Take another breath there. Bringing the knee down if the knee was lifted, bringing the hands back to the floor and stepping back onto your hands and knees. You might want to give that a little shimmy side to side, and we'll make our way then into downward facing dog. So curling the toes, we're going to lift and hover the knees, so just hover for a few breaths there so you get that real nice engagement through your core, pushing through the hands and the arms, and then guiding those sit bones up and back. And softening your knees so you can find that length through your arms and your spine first. Let the head hang. And then walking the dog, press one heel back as you bend the other knee. And slow it down a little bit so that you really can feel what's going on there. And then maybe try coming up and down onto your tiptoes. And as you drop your heels down, so again, slow it down. As you drop your heels down, try and lift your toes off. And then just slowly lower your knees back down to the floor. So uncurl your toes for me for a moment and sit back onto your heels. And we're just going to bring the left leg out in front. So if you're not happy to sit on this back leg, maybe put a cushion there underneath your bum or something, pad it out, or maybe underneath your foot. Whatever you need to do to make that a little bit more comfortable. And let's just pull that heel in as close to the bum as we can. So we haven't done this one for quite a long time. we're going to press a little bit of weight if your knee is comfortable, and this is all dependent on how this feels in your body. So if you don't like sitting onto this back foot, you can sit up a little bit more like that, do you know? But what we're focusing on here is the Achilles tendon. So what we're doing is we're pressing a little bit of weight into that knee, and I want you to drive this foot down into the floor as if you were pushing on a brake pedal. You try and stop a car. Push down through the front of your toes, the ball of your foot. And then after you pushed into that a few times, try now to lift your toes off whilst you're there. Try and bring all the way into your heel. So I'm not asking you to let go completely, but you can if you want. Pull the toes away from the floor. And then go back again to that idea of pushing on a brake pedal, and you might sink a little bit more weight into that leg, but push it down into the floor. And then you might back off on that knee a little bit and try and lift your toes off the floor. And then just relax that. We're going to come back up onto our hands and knees, and I want you just to roll that left ankle. You can feel that work that's gone on there. And then we'll go back into our downward facing dog and we'll walk it out again and just see if we feel any different. So from your downward facing dog, again, just beginning to walk it out. Maybe lifting up and down onto tiptoes and the heels. Now I can get that heel that I just worked on down to the floor. I can't get the other one down yet, but hopefully I will. But I can feel the work that's gone on in that ankle. It feels a little bit tired after that. And we didn't do a whole lot, but we'll do the other side. So if you drop down onto your knees, maybe sit back onto your heels and then bring that right leg out in front. And so then, again, you're kind of pulling that heel as close in towards your bum as you can. So again, if you need to come forward a little bit, you can work from here, it's fine. Otherwise, sit back here. So then you can bring a little bit of weight into the knee or the thigh. You can lean into it a little bit. And then pushing that foot down into the floor. So pressing it down. Notice what you're feeling around that ankle joint as you do that. Keep pressing it down. 3, 2, 1. And then maybe lightening off a little bit. Trying then to lift the toes. Try and take the weight back into the heels. So you're not going to see a lot of movement going on, but you can feel how that is changing around the ankle. Keep trying to lift all of those toes. And then press them back again. The whole foot pushing down into the floor. Nice job. I'm going to turn back around. You can see. Pushing down, pushing down, pushing down. And then softening off a little bit, lifting the toes away from the floor again. Trying to pull them back. Push the weight into the heel. We'll do one last go of that. Pressing down. Feel your ankle getting tired, but this is going to make the ankle get stronger. We're loading that joint. Push down into the floor. 3, 2, 1, and then pull those toes off if you can. 3, 2, 1. Oh, well done. Come back up onto your knees and maybe just lift that foot and roll that ankle. All right, so then we're going to curl the toes. We're going to push back to downward facing dog and we'll walk that out again. And see how that feels. You might try coming up onto the tiptoes. And again, try and push the heels down to the floor, lift the toes. So I've got both heels down now on the floor. It's created a little bit of space in that ankle joint. Hopefully, get a little bit stronger after that. So then we're going to come all the way up the mat towards the hands. You're going to take
one foot out to the side of your mat, the other foot out to the other side of your mat. Bend your knees. You might turn the heels in and the toes out. See, can you sit into a squat? So our squat might be a little bit more accessible than usual because we just worked that area of the ankles. Or it might be that you still have your heels off and you're still up here, and that's okay. Just let the weight drop down and maybe bring the hands to the heart. Take a couple of breaths there in your squat. Go for 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to bring the hands back to the floor and start to lift your bum up and maybe just walk your feet in a little bit closer. Find a nice forward fold, so soft knees, belly to the thighs, crown of the head to the floor. You can either wrap your arms around your legs or hold your opposite elbow. Might want to take a little sway. I need to give the head a little nod and a shake. Really rooting down through the soles of your feet so that you feel that little rise up through the sit bones. And then releasing your arms down, bending your knees a little bit more deeply, pulling in through the belly. We're uncurling the spine. Head is going to come up last. Stacking one vertebra slowly on top of the next. Going all the way up to standing. And just taking a breath there. So we're going to turn sideways on our mat and just step the feet out wide. And we're just going to do 1 or 2 standing poses, nothing crazy. I want this to be a nice grounding class. Just paying attention. So the right toes can come in a little bit and the left toes can come out. And we'll bend that knee. And find a nice long stance, nice wide stance, and just bring the right fingertips to the outer right thigh and push into your fingers. So it's like you're pressing your knee over. So find that little bit of work going on there in that right hip, and then firm up that back thigh. So the legs want to be strong. We're going to take the arms out wide and we're going to look along the line of that left hand, so middle finger. So just really embody that warrior energy here. And take a couple of breaths. Keep pressing that knee back, keep firming up that left thigh. So the lower body is really strong and grounded. The upper body then feels light. So we might turn that left palm up and we might tip gently back. And then start to come forward again. You might rest that elbow on the knee for a moment. Turn the back palm up and bring the arm over. So stay here if you want with the elbow on the knee, or you can play around just lightening through that elbow a little bit. Maybe coming down a little bit lower with the fingertips to the floor. We're going to make our way back. Pushing down into the feet to slowly come back up again. We'll spin the feet around and come to the other side. Find that nice warrior on the other side. So again, you might just press that knee into the hand for a moment. Get that hip to open. And then firm up that back thigh. Arms coming up into straight arms. Looking along the line of that hand. Embodying again that warrior energy. We need it right now, I think, more than ever. And then spinning that palm up, tipping back. And then coming all the way back. And maybe tipping forward. And either resting the elbow on the knee or changing it up, changing whether you want to work a little bit more strongly, or whether you want to go a little bit deeper. And then bring yourself all the way back. Feet to the side of the mat. We'll fold forward into a wide leg forward bend. So the sit bones moving back, chest coming forward, fingertips to the floor. Taking maybe a little swing or a sway there. Whatever it is that you want from this pose. Just take another breath or two. And we're going to make our way up again. You might feel like you need to soften and bend your knees or come in a little bit closer. Whatever you need to do, coming all the way back to standing. And we'll just heel toe the feet together and turn back to the top of the mat. So I'm going to come up to the top of my mat. And just take a pause, take a breath. And then spin the palms out. We're going to rise the arms up. Maybe look up and then fold all the way forward and down. Halfway lift. And then fold. Let's lift and step the right foot back. Big step back and spin that right heel down. I'm going to push into that front foot. You can help yourself up if you want with your hands. Come up, raise the arms up. And find your warrior one. Take another breath there, nice and strong. And then bring your hands down to your hips. And I'm just going to introduce you to, it's not really a standard yoga pose. This is from a friend of mine, Mark Walsh, who does a lot of work in embodiment. And I've been working on this with a few clients recently. I want you to make a fist with your left hand and bring it to your left hip, just into your left hip. And then with your right hand, press forward. So turn the fingers up, press the palm forward. And this is what he calls no pose. So I want you to embody your no. Okay? So I want you to notice how this feels for you. Because maybe saying no is something that's very difficult for you, or maybe something that you say too often, or you'd like to say less often, or you'd like to say with more conviction. So just want you to notice how that feels in your body. It's a very strong pose, and one or two of my clients have said, oh, I need to soften that a little bit. It feels a bit too strong for me. Whereas another client actually was kind of moving that arm out and actually saying, I'm actually creating a shield around myself. And I just think that Christmas time, especially for women, can be a difficult time to put boundaries in place and to say no to anything. So I wanted to just invite you to embody your no and see how that feels. And maybe there's something you need to put a boundary in place for. And embodying this, like holding this pose before you go in to make a boundary with somebody, might just actually make you feel stronger. So now I'm going to ask you to just release the hands, maybe shake that off. And we'll bring the hands then behind the back and we'll just open through the heart, because we need to keep an open heart too. And as much as anything else, we also need to keep our gratitude. So humble warrior, leaning forward towards that left thigh. We're going to take the arms up over the head. You might bring the chin in slightly towards the chest, or you might not. You might need to lighten out to that a little bit as well. Take another breath or two there. And then release your fingertips to the floor. We'll spin that back heel up and step forward. Fold in. And then arms sweep out. We'll rise all the way back up. And bring the hands to the heart. Release the hands down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. And then a halfway lift. And fold. We're going to step that left foot back. We're going to find that long lunge and swivel that left heel down. So make sure that your legs feel nice and solid so you can bring yourself up and find that warrior one. Breathe. And then maybe making a fist again with that right hand, bringing it into that right hip. Bringing that left arm forward, see how it feels again on this side. Maybe again used to this, feels a little bit easier. Maybe you realize you want to go a little bit stronger. So you notice some people really push away and some people will pull back a little bit. And then we're going to sweep the hands behind, open through the chest, and then come forward into humble warrior. And then releasing the hands to the floor, we're going to swivel that back heel this time, stepping back to downward facing dog. And then just lowering both knees when you're ready to the floor. You can take your knees out a little bit wider, uncurl your toes, sit back to your heels, maybe rest the forehead down. And sweep the arms back. And we'll take a few breaths here. Might want to roll a little bit from one side of the forehead to the other. And then just maybe using the hands to support you as you roll yourself up. And we might bring the knees in a little bit closer. I'll just turn to face you for a moment. We're just going to slide off to, let's go to the right. So slide off the legs and bring feet out to the side there. And then bringing your left fingertips to the floor, we're going to bring the right arm up. Take a big side stretch. And just take a couple of breaths there. Try and soften that left shoulder and extend through the right fingertips. Find a really nice big side body stretch. And then bring yourself back, and we'll just kind of come up and slide over to the other side. So the feet come out to the right, and then it's the fingertips to the right and the left palm up, and we reach up and over and down. Another breath there. And then bringing the hand all the way back. And then maybe just leaning back and bringing the legs out in front. And just bringing the soles of the feet together. So we have, the heels are not coming all the way into cobbler pose. They're a little bit further away. Soles of the feet together. And you might need to kind of move those fleshy bits out of the way. Or if you have your cushion, you might want to sit upon your cushion for this one. Try and find some length up through the crown of your head. We're just going to lean forward through the legs. And then you might slide the hands down the shins to the tops of the feet. Or if you like that variation where you come under into turtle pose, you can go a little bit deeper into that. Just take a few breaths there. Starting to turn in. Connect back to your breath. And take one more breath there. And then we're going to start to bring ourselves up out of that. And you might bring both hands to the floor behind you, both legs out wide, and we'll just windscreen wipe the legs a little bit. Just gentle. So a little bit of a mixed class, a little bit of attention for the hips, some nice work for the spine. Shoulders got a nice look in, nothing too crazy. We might just slide both legs straight out in front here And slowly bring yourself into a right angle at Dandasana, staff pose. Curl the toes towards you, lengthen up through the crown of your head, and then just start to fold. Straight back coming forward, belly to thighs. Feeling that lovely stretch into the back of the hamstrings. You may need to bend your knees slightly or have a sense of dragging the heels towards the sit bones. And then maybe let the arms come either onto the shins, or maybe you come into your toes, or maybe just to the floor, wherever is the best place for you. Keep that length through the crown of the head, keep that length through the spine. We soften into this on the out breath if the body allows it. One more breath there. And then very slowly start to make your way back up again. So I want to make sure you have nice time for relaxation. If you want to put on a warmer layer, you can do that now. You can lie down on the floor, or you can stay seated, or you can lie on your side. You can come into some kind of restorative pose. Just settling yourself down. Maybe using a cushion to support yourself under your knees or back of your head. And I'm going to apologize ahead of time in case my dog barks. Hopefully she won't. Hopefully Postman has been and gone. Apologies if she does. So just settling yourself down. Closing your eyes if you're comfortable to do that, bringing your awareness back inside. And again, just noticing how your body feels right now. Reconnecting to the breath. And just watching the breath coming in and going out. Nice, soft, easy breaths. Just watching the breath coming in and going out without controlling it. Nice and soft and easy. And as you're breathing, noticing how your mind feels. Are you moving into thinking? Can you label that as thinking? And try and really stay connected to your body and your breath, to this moment, this time right now. Staying in connection with anything that's arising in you right now, without judging it, without labeling it necessarily. Watching the breath coming in, going out, noticing any other sensations. Maybe there are sounds around you, inside or outside the room that you're in. Maybe you're aware of the temperature of the air around you on your skin, or the clothes that you're wearing touching your skin. Maybe aware of the surface that you're lying on, the texture of the surface beneath you. Maybe there are sensations arising within your body. Beating of your heart, movement of your breath. Sometimes when we begin to move into relaxation, the digestive system starts to gurgle and move and make sounds. And that's a good sign. Maybe you can feel the weight of your arms, and a sense of your feet flopping out to the sides, the weight of your head or your shoulders. Noticing any urges to move or to wriggle, or anything that's pulling you away from this moment. And keep coming back to your sensations in your body, to your breath, to this moment right now. Stay connected. Just enjoying the peace. And just taking another few breaths. And then gradually starting to bring your attention, your awareness back to the room that you're in, to your body on the floor. Very tentatively starting to make some small movements. You might like to take a yawn or a stretch or just a deeper breath. We're going to start to think about coming back to sitting, but I want you, as always, to take your time. I want you to maybe roll to one side or just gradually ease yourself out of that relaxation. Give your body anything it needs before you come up. And when you get back to sitting, you might just bring the hands to the heart and gratitude to yourself and gratitude to each other for sharing this space. Gratitude from me as always for your support. Namaste. And thank you for joining me.